We're here at Nefarious Cellars on the shores of Lake Chelan. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the program you have here?
Sure. We've got 7 acres of vineyard around us here on the property, and it was planted in 2005. We've got 2 different varieties that are in production currently. We've got Viognier, which is down through the lower part of the vineyard here behind us. And then on the hillsides, we've got a couple different clones of Syrah planted, as well as a little bit of Malbec that'll be in production this year for the first time.
How many cases do you produce here?
Roughly 2,000 cases. We reached that this last spring with the bottling, and that's really as much as we want to produce.
Okay. Now you spent a little time in Oregon before you came here. Why don't you kind of tell us what you did there and then when you came back up here?
Sure. Yeah, we moved down to Oregon in the end of 2001 and spent about 2.5 years there. I worked for a vineyard management company the first season, and then got my foot in the door at a winery at Nefarious Cellars, just outside of Dayton there. And then went to Soder for a year there. And then we took classes at Chemeketa Community College. They've got a nice enology and viticultural program. Did that at night, and Heather worked in the tasting room there, and then came back in 04, and we're lucky enough to find this property and start working on this.
And tell me, how did you find this property?
Our neighbor, actually, Denny Evans, who has Tunnel Hill Winery over here, as well as the Sunshine Market, has some orchard behind that. We had looked and looked in the valley here to try to find the right piece of property and just hadn't found anything. And so finally went to him to see if he had anything available or might want to sell something. And luckily he had this 7-acre strip here that was in pears at the time, and that wasn't of much use to us. So out came the pears and in went the grapes.
Now with the new AVA approved, is that helping bring in traffic, or are we already getting some of that?
I think it definitely is. Yeah, I'm really surprised. You know, we get a pretty wide array of wine lovers from people. The folks that just left before you guys arrived today, it was their first tasting room experience anywhere, and they were a lot of fun. But they had actually read about it over in the Bellingham area somewhere, and so people seem to be reading about it, and all kinds of different magazines are hearing about it on the web. So yeah.
So with your experience in different areas of the Northwest, what makes up some of the differences with the grapes grown here in Chelan versus other areas of the Northwest?
Probably that big body of water behind us is the largest factor that really separates us, and it helps in the summer, keeping us maybe just a little bit cooler than some of the other areas. You know, grapes pretty much shut down at 95 degrees, and you know, we don't have too many days over that, although it feels like today it could be close. And so then in the winter, on the other end of the spectrum, we've got very few days that you know, get close to below, you know, or 0 or below, which helps with winter injury, preventing it.
And finally, how'd you come up with the name?
Our last name's Neff, so it's just kind of a play on our last name. We felt like the name Chelan had pretty well been used up around the lake here, and so something different and hopefully memorable.
Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.